Welcome back to another video. I am so excited to talk about this series. This is going to be the first episode into my book series video series, I guess you can say. So I'm going to be doing a series of my Roman Empire series, the series that I love, that I would highly recommend to you as a reader. So today we are going to be talking about, drumroll please, you've probably seen it everywhere on Book Talk, on Instagram, everywhere, but we are going to be talking about the Magnolia Parks series, the Magnolia Parks universe, anything and everything Magnolia Parks. I get so giddy and I'm so happy to talk about this series because when I first read the book a couple years ago, I fell in love immediately. I could not stop reading it. I binged read the books. Let's get into a little bit about the series and what it is and why you should read it. Magnolia Parks is the first book, and this is where you get to meet all of the characters in this series, in this universe, and it tells you a little bit of backstory. So this book focuses on Magnolia and BJ. Magnolia and BJ have been in each other's lives for a very long time, since they were very young, and they were long-term boyfriend and girlfriend. So Magnolia and BJ start off the book as exes. So they start off as exes. You know, you may have that one ex, or you feel like this is your love, and like no matter what you do, you cannot let them go, and as hard as you try to sever that tie, you are still somehow tied and tethered to this person, this other soul. So this book really explores Magnolia and trying to navigate life after BJ. Because they are still around each other. He is still her person that she goes to for everything, because they've known each other for so long that it's really hard for her to let go of BJ. So I don't want to give away too much, but that is the first book. The first book kind of introduces you to the world, to all the characters, to where Magnolia and BJ are starting off. And they were boyfriend and girlfriend. They are exes. They are trying to navigate what that looks like for them after a betrayal that happened. And Jessa has a way with writing and a way with writing emotions and kind of really taking a deep dive into them. She writes the love scenes and explains being in love so beautifully, and the heartache is there, and it's just, Jessa has a way with words that I have not felt with any other author. So I would explain the Magnolia Parks universe as a toxic gossip girl set in London. Magnolia is the daughter of a music executive and a former model, so she loves fashion. She wears the newest stuff, always has to be dressed to the nines. She even dresses her little sister, and she's just obsessed with it. She cannot be seen in the same clothes twice. She is obsessed with fashion and everything to do with the world of fashion. Jessa explains her outfits, so that's what I really love, is that you can get a visual of who Magnolia is, how she carries herself, and what she wears. So that's what I love about this book. It really puts things visually in your head of who Magnolia is. She is just a young, hot fashion girl who is rich and can do whatever she wants. So that is book one. Book two is Daisy Hates, and Daisy Hates is someone you'll get introduced in book one. She, I don't want to say is friends with Magnolia, but is kind of like, is someone they went to school with. So they are familiar with each other, they know each other. Daisy is actually the sister of Julian, which is a crime lord in London, and she has grown up in a world of crime and in a world of danger, and she is actually going to school to try to become a nurse. So she doesn't run in the same circle as Magnolia, but they are familiar with each other, and in this book you kind of get to see how their paths intertwine a little bit more. I am obsessed with Daisy. Daisy is a badass. I love Daisy. This book you'll get to see her struggles and why the way she is, and I don't want to give away too much, but Daisy Hates is just as good as Magnolia Parks. I really love this book. So again, these two books are happening at the same time. You just get different perspectives of the timeline and what's going on of the two different characters, Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates. So The Long Way Home, Magnolia Parks, picks up where the book one left off of Magnolia Parks. Back in Magnolia's point of view, trying to figure out the pieces of this betrayal that has happened, for her trying to move on with her life. She explores her options. She is trying to find herself again after this year-long relationship with BJ. This book really portrays a lot of real life situations, a lot of real life trauma for a lot of people. I find it very relatable to the point where these are everyday struggles, right? Maybe some of us aren't rich. I'm not rich, but we go through the same things. We feel the same emotions. There's heartbreak. There is trauma that you have to go through, and you unpack the trauma that Magnolia has from her parents. I just find it so relatable. This book, this entire series is amazing. Again, Jessa has a way with words that I feel like I haven't felt with any other author in any other series. So this book is just as good. It came out a couple years ago, so I definitely need to do a reread. I just read the last book in the Magnolia Parks series, so I want to do a full series reread. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. But this is The Long Way Home, Magnolia Parks. It picks up where her point of view left off in her first book, and it's just, again, the struggles and the journey of her trying to navigate life without BJ, and her trying to pick herself back up after a betrayal. And I just love how her friends gather around her, and the box 6 is really there to support her, and she has a really great group of friends that are ride or die for her no matter what. Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I love this book so much. We get more of Julian and Magnolia, so we get a little bit more of Julian Hates, which is Daisy Hates' brother. Again, Julian is the crime lord in London, one of the biggest crime lords there is, and we get introduced in their backstory, and their backstory continues of this book, of their life of crime, their life of danger. Daisy's brother being prosecuted by the police and being chased down by the police. I fell in love with Julian. I am a Julian stan. I do not want to give too much away, but Julian is that man. My man, my man, my man. I stand by Julian. He deserves the world, and I could not get enough of this book. Daisy Hates' story is so good as well. She comes from a troubled past again. This picks up from her point of view from her last book, and I can't say anything else, but you guys have to read it. Have to read it. I'm doing such a horrible job explaining, but it's just so good. I think this might be my favorite book out of the series, but I definitely am due for a reread because I don't remember quite as much. Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. This just came out January 2024. I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what to say about it because as much as I am a Julian stan, the love that Magnolia and BJ have for each other is written in the stars, written in destiny. They cannot get away from each other, and I love how BJ is there for Magnolia in a time of grief, in a time of trauma, in a time of loss. But BJ and Magnolia really are meant for each other, and this book was the perfect conclusion to their love story. I feel like they are meant to be. As much as I am a Julian stan, BJ and Magnolia are meant for each other, and this book solidifies that for me. The way BJ supports Magnolia and is there for her and kind of puts her before himself is so selfless, so beautiful. I cannot tell you guys how much I was sobbing throughout this entire series. I cried. I looked like a naked mole rat. I was red. I could not get enough of this book. I cannot explain how Jessa made me feel all of the feelings, and I would check your trigger warnings because there is a mention of a death in here, and she explains grief so wonderfully as someone who has lost someone very close to me as well. Grief is a journey, and she explains it so much. And when something happens that traumatic as losing someone close to you, it is a journey and you feel lost for some time, and Jessa writes about it, and I could relate to it, and I just fell in love with this book that much even more because of it. And it is just the most beautiful ending to wrap up Magnolia and BJ's story. I am glad they got their happy ending, and I can't wait to see what Daisy Hates' next book brings us, because Julian deserves a happy ending as well. And there's just so many good quotes in here, and so many things that I took away from this entire book, entire series really. Like, I carry these characters with me daily. Magnolia meets Julian, and she tells him, if it wasn't BJ, it would be you. In this lifetime, it's BJ, but if in another universe, in another life, it would be you, Julian. And that broke me so much. You guys just need to read it. The entire series is amazing. There's drama. You're hooked from the first page. It is definitely like a toxic Gossip Girl cliquey type of situation. These group of friends just really showed me like how much of a found family they are, and no matter what, they're always going to be there for each other, and they're gonna ride or die for each other in adversity, in traumatic times, in a time of loss, in a time of happiness. They are always there for each other, and I love this found family. I hope that I convince you to maybe start reading this series. If not, that's okay. I loved Magnolia Parks. I read the first couple books a couple years ago, so I definitely need to do a reread. I will be doing a reread later on this year, but Jessa, this entire series has my heart. I will be getting tattoos to reference this series because it is that good. This is a series that I will forever recommend, and a series that I wish I could read for the first time all over again. Thank you guys for joining me on my first episode of my my book series, but I hope you guys read Magnolia Parks. Give it a shot. It is not dark romance, it is more like a contemporary. I hope that I convince you to read Magnolia Parks. Give it a shot. Tag me, comment me, let me know if you like it or not. Let me know if you didn't like it, what you didn't like about it. But the Magnolia Parks series is one of my Roman Empire series. I will carry these characters with me every day. It is that good. I need to do a reread soon, but I can't wait for the next Daisy Hates book. Thank you guys for joining me on this video. I hope I kind of convinced you to read Magnolia Parks series. It is just so good. I personally loved it. Again, reading is subjective. Check your trigger warnings. If you don't like it, that's fine, but this is my personal opinion. I love it. I'm obsessed. Forever. This series chemically altered something in my brain. Thank you guys for joining me on my video. Bye!